So I'm gonna try and navigate this by like looking at the participant list and trying to understand who's online, who I invited to introduce themselves. So yeah, I guess just in case for people who've joined recently, for the assembly that we're hosting in Sheffield next summer, we're looking to work with community groups and organizations in Sheffield, so that the young designers and architects that are part of our network can build briefs, build briefs together with you as community groups, to sort of help build new facilities or help to sort of improve existing things that you're working on, or like realizing new ideas. We do like built works, art, performance, like a number of different types of project. So really this is just about introducing first, like if you're from it's really hard to navigate. If you're from a group in Sheffield, to introduce your organization and what you do and what the issues are that you're like facing at the moment. And we don't need to know exactly how we're going to work together yet, but it's just a sort of like introduction of that. And then if you are like an artist or collaborator, then to just describe a bit about your practice and why, how ideas of how you might be able to work together on projects for EASA Commons. So firstly, I was going to try and start with Rob from SADACCA, because he's just finished his radio show now. So I'm expecting him in a few minutes, so I don't want to like, he said he can only join for like 10 minutes or something. So I want to like start with that, but I don't see that he's on the call yet. So firstly, I know that the Bloc Projects like artists and residents are on here, but maybe I can just describe. I don't think Sunshine or David are on the call, unless you are. Okay, I'm going to describe Bloc Projects, who are one of our key partners. So Bloc Projects are an arts charity and a gallery based in Sheffield. They've been running for, I think, about 20 years. And they've recently started to acquire leases for meanwhile sites across Sheffield for artists to use. So they've been super helpful at connecting us with the sort of empty spaces that they've been given leases to. So hopefully we can use some of their sites for some of the EASA infrastructure next year. And they are also introducing us to some of their artists in residence, or artists that are part of their network of, I think, about 80 local artists in Sheffield. So we could start, I don't want to like jump, maybe if we start with, I'm just going to like hold on for like a minute to see if Rob joins. Do Clara and I want to say a few words about the work that they're doing as the Bloc Projects artists, blueprint artists in residence?
Yes, I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah, we can go first, and I think we can share some preliminary ideas that we have to see, how further we can develop this together. But first of all, maybe a bit of our background. Yeah, now we are based in Sheffield, Clara and Gum, but we actually moved to Sheffield last year in 2021 from Hong Kong. Yeah, because of the political situation in Hong Kong at the moment. Yeah, but then so at this time, I'm also involved in Bloc Projects, another exhibition project initiated by another Sheffield-based artist, Eileen Lee. The project is called Hong Kong Future Diaspora. But what I would like to actually bring into this project about commons would be something we started in Hong Kong already, but we hope to bring it, to different places and share the ideas and further develop with different creatives and people and partner. Can I share just a few images?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, like I'm just gonna keep an eye out to see if Rob turns up. So like, forgive me if I interject, but please go ahead.
And yeah, welcome to stop me if I'm taking too long. Yes. Sorry, let me sort of.
It should be able to share.
Oh, it's not.
Share. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Okay. Sorry, I think can you see this slide of the on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the text, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so a little bit more background information. Like in 2014, there was this umbrella movement in Hong Kong, which basically is a really large scale Occupy movement at multiple sites in Hong Kong, to demand for universal suffrage, like our democracy in Hong Kong. But yeah, it failed. But anyway, so after that, people's access to the space was actually more restricted. Yeah, more restricted and regulated, yeah, in a worse sense. So as artists based there, we basically were thinking of how can we use different creative activities in order to try to reclaim our public space. And so one of the projects we started since then was to let's say reappropriate and improvise on the traditional event taking place on this Hungry Ghost Festival, which usually is in the August in our modern calendar, but according to the lunar calendar is the July 13th. So what happened in the past would be that the people would just take the different paper money or food or objects to be burned actually in public space in Hong Kong or on the streets on that particular night of this Hungry Ghost Festival, because what is one of the Taoists believe that at that night the gates of the hell would open up really widely, so the ghost that usually would not, somehow they don't have their family members to pay tribute to them, they would come out and seek help. And then so people who have empathy on those lonely ghosts, they would try to connect with them, like give them something, basically okay. And two more small points about this tradition. How could it be kept in Hong Kong? First of all, is because the previous our British government actually allowed a lot of the local religious practice to take place in these different gray areas in Hong Kong, in order to pacify the citizens on one hand, but at the same time also to distinguish Hong Kong culture from the mainland Chinese culture. Of course, there's this political agenda, very, very interesting dynamic. But then maybe for Hong Kong's good, it is, nowadays we still can sort of keep this culture until very recently, when the national security law was imposed to Hong Kong, and the whole dynamic and the policy about public space changed again. So it's really difficult for us to host events like this. And so what you are looking at in the screen right now are basically artworks made by usually paper-based artworks made by artists to join this On Fire event. And we deliberately try to open up the interpretation about burning, and which can be, about transforming different energy. And then some artists were really great. They even, for example, this artist, Rick Yu, he basically make a structure like a fish to be attached to his body, and then invite audience to take the fins, different parts of the fish away from this body sculpture, and then to be burned in the ritual. So and I want also another, and also we made at some point some sort of speakers to basically to let the messages to be heard, hopefully easier. But we find some of these elements were very interesting, because somehow these objects were also sort of connect our body with the public space in a different way. And so I think basically for EASA, this project, we would like to see if we can different participants to join together to explore more about how to how to build paper-based sculpture, which can be like a medium between the individual, the body, and the public space. And then in the end, we can also have a burning ritual together. And we actually just basically would like to invite different interpretation of burning, and bonfire festival is just sort of taking place here and there this weekend. And so this is just one concept we have in mind, and we think it may be fun, and it's also related to different idea about public space. And then the art piece itself definitely can also be an expression about a complaint or some other kind of idea related to the topic of the whole group.
Cool.
For the moment, so
looks super interesting, like really fun stuff. Thanks for sharing. It's really nice to have a little insight into the stuff you've been doing. I'm sure some people will have some thoughts as well. So good to just great to see that. So thank you so much. And I'll obviously be in touch, like personally, not just on a massive Zoom. So I know, Rob, are you there? Are you able to connect, or are you gonna wait till you're in your car? Yikes! Come on. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good. Hey.
Yeah, sorry, I'm.
Wait, Rob, we can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear us. Oh. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Right, that's good. I think it's the old signal
I've
thing.
just left the studio and it's the Wi-Fi switched.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so if you could just like explain a bit about like SADACCA and the things that I guess we were talking about that we might be able to do as EASA projects in the coming months.
Yeah. Even everyone, my name is Rob Cottrell. I'm the chair of SADACCA, which is Sheffield and District African Caribbean Community Association. Oh, so I've just got to my car.
Ah. Suspense. Oh yeah, I'm sorry everyone. I think we just got to like maybe bear with because I thought the signal was fine there. How are we doing? Oh, there. Right, you're muted now though. Yeah. Can see you. All I need to do is hear you now. If you've got yourself muted. I can wait,
Can
there
you
we
hear me
go.
now?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry about this.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get in the lights. I know it's not very bright.
Right,
But yes,
really.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as I said, my name is Rob Cottrell. I'm chair of SADACCA. We've been there as one of the anchor organisations for the African Caribbean communities since 1985. We got the building as tenants to the council, Sheffield City Council, and we did some renovations and opened doors to the public and members in 1986. We have, still do, cater for the Windrush generation. Of course, many of those are becoming, much older and infirm now. Many have passed, but we still deliver care services for them, a place for them to come and get a warm meal and be in the warm, rather than being stuck and being isolated at home. We run a significant amount of work on mental health. We run mental health cafes, where we engage with young people who would have been returning from mental health hospitals where they've been resident for a number of months. So we help them to resettle back into the community. And we also talk about mental health in general terms, because mental health is one of the things that's, people are feeling much more relaxed about talking about. So we do quite a bit of work there. One of the issues for us, one of our problems is we haven't been a very welcoming space for young people. And that kind of started in the 1980s when the Windrush generation were relatively young themselves, old parents, but they kind of made it an unwelcoming space for young people and teenagers. And that's something that we are really trying to work hard on to redress, really. And so in showing you around on Monday, I think it was, Joe, in showing you around SADACCA, I showed you the, just generally, but the recording studio space that used to be called Bob Marley Recording Studio, but we had to change that through copyright and some legal issues. So now it's just called SADACCA Studios, which still suffices. But we've been looking to engage with a number of organisations, really, to try and revamp that space into a music and performing arts space where young people can come and basically take control of the space, but with us having an oversight, you know, for safeguarding matters. But as you know, with the space, Joe, it needs a lot of work, you know, to make it a nice, welcoming and warm space. But with a bit of vision from some young artists, architects, you know, with that kind of vision, I think the space could really work really, really well. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't know if I've told you enough or if anybody's got any questions, but
no, I think that was good. I think it's just I think often it ends up just me like telling people a list of names and organizations, and it's just like really nice to be able to hear from yourself what you're doing. And yeah, it'd be nice to like over the next few months together like start to develop some proposals. Like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be that exact idea that you're talking about, but like there's a number of different ways that we can help out. So yeah, thanks so much for joining in between radio show and car. So like, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry about that, but it's just you know, it's a bit of a crazy time. You know, I do my radio show and then I get home and you know get to my sons and grandsons. But now I've got to drive to Chester. You know, I mean, I'll leave this on so I can still listen in, but I'm going to be driving.
Cool. Right. Cheers then.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everyone.
I thought, did I see Peter on from Portland Works? Are you about? Maybe. Yeah.
I am about.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, good to see you in real life. Well, ish. So yeah, maybe you want to just like talk a bit about Portland Works, and I just really don't know how exactly we can work together yet, but
Right.
Go ahead.
Having I listened to the introduction, I've been popping in and out as well and listening to some of the other stuff on Commons and Sheffield spaces. Not having known before this session started anything much about EASA. I've got my doubts now as to whether we have valid participation, but anyway, here we go. Portland Works. Portland Works Little Sheffield Limited is a community benefit society with 500 plus shareholders. They invested not for a financial return, they'll be lucky, but as a social investment to help buy the works, which the society bought the works in 2013. Portland Works is a mid-Victorian cutlery works, and our aim is firstly to preserve the works, and secondly to provide low-cost workshops. Those workshops or work units are being repurposed for a variety of purposes, a variety of reasons. We've got craftspeople, we've got artists, we've got a photographer, we've got musicians. There are about 32, 33 units in the works. I'm not sure how we could participate in this program because for two reasons. One, we're grade 2 star listed. So the opportunities for any architectural work are severely limited, if not zero, because we've got to keep the works more or less as they are. And secondly, it's quite a hostile space in terms of the physicality of it. We haven't, the surfaces are not level, the staircases are steep. We have vehicles and a forklift truck running around most days. So the possibility of admitting the public, we do admit the public occasionally on open days, but it's very labor intensive for us because we have to have stewards in place all over the works to try and stop people doing silly things like walk up steep staircases in stiletto heels. So I think the scope for our participation, if someone's got a proposal or an idea that they think we might be a partner in, then fine, but I've got my doubts.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining anyway. I think particularly we're interested in Portland Works because of the ownership model. And often sort of industrial spaces are owned by one private entity, and in this case, it's a number of individual craftspeople. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, we're interested in like just exposing like our participants to a number of different ownership structures in Sheffield. So it's nice to have you involved in that way anyway. And we're not necessarily exclusively about built projects, but there's a number of sort of like research and artwork related projects as well that could happen. Like it just happens that like some things that we talk about are specifically about like built stuff, but that's not everything that we do. So I'm sure, yeah, we can maybe think about some way. Like it's great to have you here as a sort of initial introduction. Yeah, to know that all of just get a flavor of the different organizations that are around Sheffield.
Well, certainly in my limited experience, it's a very new organizational model, created really in the first part of the century, and cemented by the 2014 Act, under which we operate. But the concept of, and I think we're possibly one of the biggest community benefit societies in the country in terms of membership, with 500 plus. I mean, the great majority of those members have the minimum shareholding of £100. And anyone who, as I started in my first remarks, anyone who invested with the prospect of getting a financial return is going to be sadly disappointed. The social return in terms of preserving the works, providing workshops and reaching out to the wider community is our aim. If we can participate, if anyone has ideas, then fine, we'd be happy to consider it.
Great, thanks so much, Peter. Yeah, and I guess we're also, I'm not sure if anyone is online from, we're also in touch with some community owned pubs in Sheffield, about, I don't know, likewise, like a sort of similar community benefit society, where I just find the ownership structure interesting, and think of like, I don't know if anyone else is Janet's not on here, is she? No. But yeah, there's a few community owned groups in Sheffield that we're interested in thinking about working with. So thank you very much, Peter. Now maybe I can, Polly, do you want to talk about like, do you want to wait, are you there, Polly?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I get lost in this list, and like, and then I psych myself out and I'm like, what's happening?
So on my screen, I'm right next to you. I'm right by your side, giving you all.
I should get the gallery thing happening, but it's just intimidating when you're speaking.
Yeah, I can do some talking.
Yeah, please.
I'm going to briefly apologize for my camera quality and then swiftly move on by sharing my screen. But I have all of you guys up right now, so bear with while I should have got this loaded already. But yeah, I'm just going to.
Embarrassing.
I know, don't look at my tabs, guys. I'm going to talk about one project. There's a couple to talk about very briefly. This one is kind of, I guess, the least brief. But Gut Level is a Sheffield DIY music and community space. It's been running for, I believe, a few years now. Gut Level champion the idea of being a welcoming space, celebrating LGBTQ community, and just generally trying to create a alternative music venue that's kind of like run by the people for the people. In order to go to a Gut Level event, you have to sign up to a membership, which is £2.50 a year. and by signing up to that membership, you agree to their kind of terms and conditions. I put this slide up just because I think there's an interesting bit in here. If you see in the section about create a welcoming space, parties should be fun for everyone. Hypermasculine behavior such as dominating the space excessively isn't acceptable, which I think is kind of an appropriate statement for commons, and kind of excessively dominating space being one of the issues that perhaps we're targeting. So yeah, they've got some really interesting kind of policies. So gut level has been running out of a kind of warehouse space on a street called Snow Lane, which is relatively close to Sheffield city centre. But unfortunately they have been moved on. So this statement that they made earlier in the year, I'm just going to read a bit out for you guys. It's with great sadness that we must announce the impending closure of Gut Level's beautiful Snow Lane space. For many people involved in the DIY and grassroots spaces, this story will be familiar. Insecure tenancies, accelerated gentrification, and the appearance of luxury accommodation on every street corner has made it virtually impossible for small independent spaces to exist long-term in central locations. In our case, the Gut Level building will soon be developed into flats, displacing our community and disrupting the parties and workshops that we have planned for you all. So yeah, this is not a very uncommon story. And Gut Level have been moved twice since they've started up. I believe they've actually now found a new space that they're going to move into soon. So we'll get some more information on that in the coming months. But, these guys are really, really pumped to work with EASA and potentially kind of collaborate with workshops on kind of how to understand ownership of space a little bit better in whichever way that perhaps that kind of comes about. So I don't have slides for the other two things, but just to kind of briefly sort of throw a few more ideas in for any potential tutors listening. We're also talking with a housing cooperative group who is a row of 5 terraces. For anyone unfamiliar with housing co-ops, this particular one is, so the housing co-op is set up as a limited organization who over the last 20 years, 30 years, bought these 5 terraces in a row, and you basically apply to be a tenant, and you pay £1 to become an owner, a shareholder of the mortgage, and then you slowly pay off. So over time, that housing co-op will own their buildings outright, and I believe they already do so own some of them outright. So a cool model, which hopefully we'll be able to get them involved with a project on. And then the other one is an organisation who are putting together a community climbing park, which probably isn't going to happen until 2024, but they'll be developing that idea in Sheffield whilst you guys are around. So if that idea kind of catches anyone's attention, there'll be some more information coming on that as well. Yeah, that's all from me.
Great, thanks. So if there's also, I don't think Sam Brown could make it today because of tiny children commitments. But we've also been talking to the University of Sheffield runs as part of their architecture program. They run a live projects unit, so they have so students run sort of like for 6 weeks. They run different projects, working with groups throughout Sheffield. This has been going, I don't know how long this has been going on for. I'm just speaking a lot of authority here. But they have maybe hundreds of connections with different groups across Sheffield, and they are going to connect us with some people who we can work with. And they also said to bear in mind that because they're running these units as part of their course, that we can think about the afterlife of EASA projects as slotting into or being picked up by live projects later in the year, and likewise they're in the sort of they've just finished those projects now. So they're doing like evaluation period with all the groups they've been working with. So they're going to get a sense of who has an appetite to continue and build on the foundational work that they've done. So we're just sort of like, this meeting's kind of come at a weird time for them because we were to get a bunch more connections through that, but it just is sort of like going to happen in a few weeks' time. So we're going to keep, this is why we also have this database of contacts that we're going to keep updating. And also it's going to involve us as organizers doing a lot of in-person meetings in Sheffield and trying to understand which are the like the connections that are like the most fruitful collaborations, basically. So is there anyone else on the call that we've been speaking to who wants to introduce themselves that I have somehow not seen because I'm bad at navigating the participant list? If so, then please say something now. And then I'm going to assume that that's no then. And yeah, like, I guess we're going to have like these relationships take time to develop, and it's like difficult to get everyone onto the call at the same time. So we will issue this list of people and try to build more sort of distinct briefs with them that people can respond to and release those, so that hopefully in the ideas call in December, potential tutors can start to propose ideas that respond to those briefs. So yeah, thank you so much for like, I'll just end there on like a sort of weird, like I should do like a proper outro, but I have no like spectacle to end on, just fizzling out slowly. So yeah, thanks so much for sticking it out, everyone. I know we tried to like pack a lot into this afternoon, so really appreciate everyone joining, particularly like the diehard like group that have stayed through the entire thing. So yeah, please, we'll be in touch like over email, and just yeah, like if you have any questions, then please just let us know. Maybe if you have any questions right now, then let us know.
I was gonna say, Joe, maybe if there is like an appetite for sort of like a quick round, if anyone really has something they want to say. Yeah. Good to say it while we're all convened together in this Zoom space, because this doesn't happen all the time. And yeah, go for it. Otherwise, we're always accessible through messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we should be issuing the information pack, like Lucia said. And yeah, this is the first meeting. Hopefully we'll build on, and we'll come up with some really interesting workshops and projects. So yeah, super excited. Thanks again to all of our speakers, and yeah, everyone who's been able to join to introduce themselves. And yeah, like anything else, Bea, you want to?
Yeah, I was just gonna put like along with this, we're gonna be scheduled as like, this is more of like an NC EASA sort of centered announcement. We'll be scheduling some like calls with the national contacts. So if you're a new national contact and you've never met myself or Joe or Lucia or Polly or anyone else like Eve on the team, you'll be meeting myself and Eve primarily for like some 10-minute, 15-minute chats. So as national contacts, do like sort of speak to tutors in your country that may be interested in tutoring, or do speak to your participants who have any questions, and come to that session with some questions for us, because that's what we're going to be there to do, is to answer those questions and sort of help the national contacts as much as possible on the run up to the event. And like I said, yeah, that'll come in the newsletter next week with some sort of scheduling for all of that. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say.
Great. Amazing. That sounds good. Obviously, we've been recording this meeting, so please, yeah, like we'll publish it online. So yeah, please check back at this, and like if anyone has missed it, if you're watching this recorded, hi. Yeah, I guess I'll just finish. Little enjoy your Sunday evenings. Have a great week ahead, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.